Hey there, Kelly. How are you?
I'm doing great, Alex. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I wanted to share a dead end with you today.
Oh, I love dead ends.
Do you?
I'm super excited because, yeah, these are great to bring up at parties. They're great to talk about while you're enjoying a nice, refreshing can of liquid death. I mean, there's
Here
so
we
many
go.
things you can do with dead ends.
Here we go with the liquid death again. Well, I want to talk. I was thinking recently about something that used to be kind of big when we were kids. If you were a child of the, probably bigger if you're a little older than us. But
Okay,
a
like
thing
70s,
that
60s,
yeah, it
70s.
used to be a kind of a taboo piece of fun for little kids.
Hula hoops.
And it's something that is some people would consider like a major concern, but mostly when I say these two words together, they kind of will make you laugh, I think.
Okay. Yeah. What do you got?
Candy cigarettes. How ridiculous.
Wow.
How ridiculous
All
are
right.
candy cigarettes?
I'm gonna tell you that my grandmother hated those things. I think I had some one time, and she came completely unglued when she saw me. And the part of the reason is she was a very religious woman who didn't
Were you
smoke,
hanging
didn't
out
drink.
like James Dean?
Yes,
Just
yes.
like, yeah.
But my grandfather, her husband, smoked, and so she really did not like the fact that I was pretending to smoke with a candy cigarette.
Yeah, you just wanted to be cool,
I
right?
wanted
You
to
were
be
over
like
there.
Grandpa. Yeah, he was large and in charge.
Were you standing against a wall with one foot against the wall, just
No,
kind of
I,
leaning
I
there?
actually remember the moment. I remember a moment anyway where I got scolded and almost slapped, like slapped out of my hand. We were at a diner in Goodland, Kansas, and my grandfather lit up a cigarette, which you could do at a diner back then. And I was sitting next to him, and I pulled out my candy cigarette and put it in my mouth. And oh, my grandmother just,
Oh
where
man,
did you get those? What? She just came
you should
unglued.
have rolled the pack up in your white T-shirt too.
Yeah, I had the guns back then.
Well, candy cigarettes have been around as long as like the late 19th century. But those
Wow.
didn't seem so bad back then because smoking wasn't really seen as a health concern back then. You know, it wasn't
Yeah.
until later on that we learned the hazards of smoking. So just to be clear, if you're not as old as me and Kelly, candy cigarettes were made of chalky sugar, sometimes gum,
Yeah.
sometimes chocolate. Like especially they have chocolate. They have candy cigars that are made out of chocolate.
They were pretty awful candy, actually. Like, I
Oh, yeah,
did not like the taste.
right. And a lot of times the tip was red to like look like it was
Yep.
lit.
Yep.
And the really good ones, the cool ones, were covered in powdered sugar, so that when you blow on it, it would make like smoke.
I never realized that.
Oh,
I
those were
think
the best.
I did have some that were covered in powdered sugar, and I didn't realize that you were supposed to blow. Wow.
Yeah, when you
Yeah.
blow it, it would make it look like you're smoking.
What is
So research.
Well, I
Oh,
got
go
a
ahead.
question. What is the little red tip of the cigarette called? The lit part. Like, there's a word for that.
Is that the cherry?
The
Is that what that's
cherry.
called?
That's Yes, thank
Yeah,
you. Yeah.
yeah. Um, well, research that they did in the 60s showed that candy cigarettes really did prime kids to smoke. The kids that enjoyed candy cigarettes were 6 times as likely to take up smoking
Wow.
when they got older. And this would probably be like you're using candy cigarettes when you're 8 and you're smoking by the time you're 11 or 12,
Dang. So my
quick.
grandmother really saved me.
Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that it was a gateway to smoking. It could be that people that are attracted to candy cigarettes are already planning to smoke. You know, it's the same drivers that are making them do one are making them do the other. But that report really freaked people out, especially since in 1964 the Surgeon General's report came out. That's the one that linked tobacco use to cancer, and
Yeah.
the one that changed everything, the one that put the labels on cigarettes. The thing is that you might not realize is that candy cigarettes were made by tobacco companies. that they were the
Ah,
ones, and then sometimes they weren't, but they would still like send their labels to the tobacco companies.
really?
Sometimes the labels would be a little off. So like Marlboro was just called Marlboro without an L.
Ah.
Camel cigarettes were called Acmel.
Really?
Yeah, Winston was spelled with a U instead of an O, but it was like the
Ah,
labels looked exactly like the actual cigarettes. So I think that's the thing that kids really loved, is that not just the cigarette in the mouth, but the whole pack and all that stuff. Now, it might surprise you to learn that despite it being a dead end, candy cigarettes are not banned in the US.
they
They are
still exist.
still legal as hell. You can go to a candy store or a convenience store, and they're not actually banned in the US. I don't know where I got that from. Maybe just because we used to see them and then we didn't, but we
Right.
were kids and then we're not. So I just assumed that they were banned. The only, the FDA, um, well, is FDA,
Food and Drug
I guess it's the
Administration.
ATF probably that
Yeah.
regulates, because that's the T in
Tobacco. Yeah.
ATF, right?
Yeah.
Um, they don't regulate candy. So they aren't, the only law that's kind of similar is that there is a law that says you're not allowed to put any flavors in cigarettes except for menthol in the US.
Really?
That they didn't want to go down a road where they were being so attractive to kids that they were making them in strawberry flavor and watermelon flavor and all these
However,
different things.
along came vaping,
Right.
which is all those flavors.
Right. I think that's probably how they get around that. But in the US, you are not allowed to have any flavor besides menthol
Okay.
for your cigarettes.
Wow.
They still exist all over the country. They are banned in the state of Tennessee. Go
Really?
figure.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. I would have guessed California.
And in the city of St. Paul, Minnesota, they are also banned.
Huh.
Um,
Like to buy them or to just have one in your hand.
to sell them, yeah.
Like I wonder
Uh,
if you could. I wonder if you could just stroll through town with a candy cigarette hanging out of your lips
if
in
you're like
St.
6
Paul.
years old,
Yeah.
yeah, probably. Oh no, not in St. Paul. No, they don't play. Now there is a law that says they're not allowed to call them cigarettes. They're not allowed to call them candy cigarettes. They call them
Okay.
sticks, like candy sticks,
Okay.
and that's enough to get out of it. So I was looking and I was thinking, there's other things that are similar to candy cigarettes that are out there. Um, the biggest, the most popular, and most successful being Big League Chew.
Oh yeah.
Familiar with
Yeah. Yeah.
familiar with the Big League Chew?
Yeah. And it was actually pretty good gum. I remember. I
Oh
remember
yeah.
having it, and it was like really chewy. It was very juicy. It the flavor lasted a long time, and it was also coated in powdered sugar. That was to make it not stick.
So whereas candy cigarettes kind of get the reputation of being a gateway to real cigarettes, Big League Chew just the opposite. It was seen as a healthy alternative to tobacco that, especially among kids that played baseball, they were emulating their heroes who were, there was a big tobacco chewing problem, baseball players back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And Big League Chew turned people against that. They could still put a big wad in their mouth, but it was healthier because it was gum. So it was seen. In fact, they have a partnership with Major League Baseball. They have a partnership with the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's seen as like a good thing in baseball. By 2023, they had sold over 1 billion pouches of Big
A
League Chew.
billion with a B.
Billion with a
Well,
B. Can you imagine?
so the whole thing with the pouch though is that's how chewing tobacco comes, right? It comes in that
Right.
kind of pouch. So you're
Well, but it
emulating.
doesn't. Right, and chewing tobacco, I think, comes in those like discs, though.
You're
Right,
thinking of
that's where.
snuff. That's snuff.
Oh, okay.
Like you're talking about like skull or the dip.
Yeah,
Like
that's
people.
what the baseball players
So
take.
chewing tobacco and dip are two different things, I think.
Okay. Well, chewing tobacco, like with the strands, I don't think that's what baseball players were mostly doing. It
No,
was
they
mostly
were
dip.
they were. I've seen footage of them pulling the pouch out of their pocket,
Oh, really?
bringing it in. So I don't know that much about it, but I know that the the chew or the dip is like a pinch between your cheek and gum, right?
Sure.
It was
Copenhagen.
Skoal, Copenhagen.
Yeah.
And then, but then chewing tobacco, I think, was even more hardcore. I think that was like you put a big wad of it in there. And the thing that always got me was you had to spit it out, right? It was like
Right.
you just like, I don't even know did you take the flavor in and then you spit it out? Because I think
No, I
my
never did
tendency
that.
would be to want to swallow it.
Same. Yeah. I couldn't imagine. Yeah. Yeah. I never did that. But a lot of kids in our high school did it.
But if you did need to spit, a
Oh, geez.
nice
Here
can
we go.
of liquid death is the perfect thing for your chewing tobacco spit to go right into. Liquid death.
There were some other things that were kind of around that kids imitating Vice's look. They had bubble pipes. Do you remember bubble pipes?
Yes, I had a bubble
Where you
pipe.
pretend you're smoking a pipe and
Yep.
you're really just blowing bubbles.
Yep.
But then they had licorice pipes. Have you ever seen a licorice pipe?
No, I don't think so.
That's like more popular in Europe, but they would be a pipe that was shaped like a tobacco pipe made of licorice, and then would have red sugar balls on the head of the pipe. And I guess you just eat it all, but you pretend you're smoking.
Okay.
My favorite was something that just lasted just like a year. This was not a good idea at all. This was in the late 60s. This was called Hippie Sippy, and it resembled a syringe, and
What?
it was chocolate pellets that would be like in a syringe kind of container, and they would give you a straw to suck from the container. These pellets would be like the size of maybe Dippin' Dots.
Oh yeah. Wow.
And they came with a badge that says, Hippie Sippy says, I'll try anything.
Wow.
Marketed to children like late 60s. Not a great idea.
No.
Hippie Sippy.
No.
But it's underrated as far as this kind of silly novelty candy goes, is bubble tape.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of that has a similar taste as the Big League Chew.
6 feet of fun is how they market that.
Yeah.
Bubble tape. It comes like a measuring tape. Do
you ever
comes in one of those little discs?
Yeah, and you just roll it off. But you know what I like to do? This really drives people crazy because you open it up. There's like a little latch on the round disc. You pull it out and then just bite into the side of it and put it back.
Yeah, that would drive me crazy if you did that.
You're like, hey, you want some bubble tape? Sure.
So you're a current consumer of bubble tape.
I probably had it in the last year or two. Maybe it was something that was at somebody's office. I don't remember. And I think I did it the normal way. I just pulled about 6 inches off, ripped it, and chewed it.
Yeah, I'd say that. I'd say if you get a chance to go back to the candy cigarette, buy a pack.
Yeah,
it's probably not going to lead you to smoking at this point in your life.
Let's hope.
But yeah, I've seen the chocolate cigars for like birth announcements.
Yeah,
instead of real cigars. But it's interesting to me how candy cigarettes are kind of the villain, Big League Chew is kind of the hero. Yet essentially it's the same kind of thing. It's kids trying to be grown up, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess here's the thing: if candy cigarettes were marketed as a way to quit smoking, so instead of smoking, you just put a candy cigarette in your mouth and do that, and eat it instead of smoking, that then it might be the hero as well.
So Nicorette, if you're listening,
team up with Liquid Death.
If you could make candy cigarettes, and instead of the gum, that sugary gum, take Nicorette and coat it in powdered sugar, so people still feel like they're smoking when they blow into that thing, and it gives the tactile sensation.
And Nicorette is gum, right?
Something with your hands.
Nicorette is gum.
Nicorette is yeah.
So then shred it and put it into a pouch like Big League Chew. I mean, you could mash all this stuff up together.
Yeah, we're giving you these ideas free for now, but they're not going to be free for long.
No, somebody's going to jump on this and be a bazillionaire, so don't miss your opportunity.
All right. That's all I got.
Nice.
Sugar sticks in paper wrap and snap, snap, snap. Sweet rebellion in a plastic bag. Parents groaned, it's just a phase, but some lit up in smoky haze. Candy cigarettes, they never quit. Taste so bad, but they're a hit. Fake cool, real strange, still here, they never change. They never change. Playground